Hey everyone, we got a quick little project today, but we are going to answer two very important questions. One, is harvest gold ever a good color for a power tool? And two, what can you get for 50 cents when you buy a power tool at a flea market? We're going to find that out and more as we revisit the late 70s, early 80s about, and rebuild a Black & Decker drill from that era. Let's get busy. So 50 cents at a flea market. Trigger seems fine. I think this is the reverse switch, which does not seem fine, but it doesn't work. The cord's in fine shape. So I've been kind of curious as to what's wrong since I tested it and realized it didn't work. So, I mean, it's nothing special, but if it can be repaired, it's worth a few minutes. I mean, it's not that it doesn't reverse or runs slow or anything like that. It flat out is dead. So something seems to be disconnected, although I'm suspicious that the reverse switch is actually what's doing it. Always interesting taking these apart because every one is different. You just never know. These screws must hold the front on as well. They are really long. Do they? Yeah, I think they actually do hold the front on. So if I can figure out what's wrong with this. Well, the cord is good. And it's never been changed either. And it looks like this is all one part. I'm kind of guessing that this tab is what's holding it in place. I don't know. There doesn't appear to be any screws holding it in place. There's got to be something. You get a flathead. But it's clear it's not a wiring issue. Mosquito. Got it. All right, so the trick is this thing. This is a trigger lock, I guess. Yeah, that's all that is. This is not reversible. That's the trigger lock. Okay. So gotta be the switch is bad. There's nothing else I can think it could be. Certainly not this. This is tight all around. I'll leave that there for now, because I don't want to pop the brushes out and all that. It's very likely to happen. Will I ever be able to find one of these? No part number on it that I can see. So, it'd be nice if this was there was an easy way to test this thing. This switch is molded and does not appear to want to come apart. Okay. So the switch is depressed. All I have to do is hit this over here on the power strip, and if the switch feels like working, but it didn't work before, so I doubt it'll work now, even though I've just played with it. It does work. Well, that's a little different. All right. So now comes the question of what was going on. If I put this thing together, is it going to work? That's so weird. Well, I suppose I could have just done this to test it. Hindsight. All right, let's see. Let's put this guy back together. And then see if it works. No guarantees, I guess. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to kind of put it back together and then run it again, see if it works. And if it does, then it will be time to grease it up. All right, I have no idea why it did not work before, but try it again. Power on and nothing. There we go. I can tell you right now, that thing is dry. Oh, I think I gotta take these 3 out and try to pop the top off. Check the grease. I'm still a little confused as to what was going on with the switch, and maybe it was just corroded inside, and I don't know. I really don't know. There's an oiler, it appears here. Yeah, that's an oiler. I hate to take it all apart to grease it if I'm gonna screw it up. Well, I tell you what, let's try oiling it. Now that we've got contact, it really doesn't sound healthy. All right, it's an oiler. Let's dig it out. I think that's what that is anyway. Could be wrong though. Perhaps it is not. Looks like it's not. So there are no oilers, and there's no obvious way to grease it. I'm not quite sure what that is. Well, all right, so I'm gonna resort to dry lubing it. It's very loud. Well, that runs out of the motor. I'm going to get an oil can and oil up the chuck. I hate to get oil all over those. So I can see how it ended up in the 50-cent box. It didn't work. Boy, Boy, this is a chuck that really needs some oil. And I work with these guys a lot, and this one is bad. Getting better. All right, get it all the way up by hand. It doesn't want to come back down, does it? So let's hit it with the wire brush. Chuck looks good. All right. So now we can read the chuck. It is a Jacobs. I don't know if you can see that. I'm sorry, I'm working in the garage. It's nighttime. See if cleaning the chuck up made it a little more friendly to being moved. Not quite. I don't know why it's so sticky. Starts getting sticky right around there. Probably with use it'll wear down, because it seems every time I do it, it's a little easier. Jacobs Multicraft USA chuck. So I'm really surprised. We got this Black & Decker drill model 7004 Type 1 working, because I had no idea what was wrong with it. It was just dead. It was in a pile of 50-cent junk, and I thought I'll give it a shot. I guess I can try cleaning it up a little bit. This could be painted, so maybe tomorrow we'll do a little bit of cosmetics to it. This plastic, all I can do is clean it. I don't know what this is really going to do. I think somewhere I have some plastic polish. I'll have to look. I'm sure this thing has not been cleaned up in many, many years. Oh, it actually does work a bit. Let's take this clean spot, see what it takes off. So, oh yeah, it looks better. There's got to be something better I can use to clean this plastic. But for now. Okay, I forgot to hit record, but what I did was I used a little bit of acetone to wipe down the grime on the plastic. And there is a lot. And you'll see, it looks pretty good. Plastic is clear now. So next, what I'm going to try is, if this is any good, I'm going to use some plastic polish. Let me get a rag for that. Now this stuff is old, so I don't know what it's going to look like coming out of the bottle, but it is old. I'm just going to use a little sponge pad here. I have no idea if this is going to have any effect. Well, doing something, because it's turning the pad yellow. So it must be taking a little bit off. All right. Well, not perfect, but not bad. So tomorrow, I'll mask this off, mask the chuck off, and I'll give this a coat of, I don't know, hammered silver, I think. And, we'll have a working drill again. That doesn't look that bad either, except for the sticker. Sticker looks really bad. Not much I can do about it. Looks much improved. All right. Never know what you can do with 50 cents. I'll be back tomorrow. All right, to protect the label, I've got it masked off. I'm just going to use some Rust-Oleum Clear. I'm going to use several coats, not too heavy. Let that sit for a couple minutes, then I'll come back. Hit it a couple more times. All right, I'm gonna get ready to paint the silver, and to cover where I just painted, I'm using the back side of the tape, so not the sticky side. Just kind of blanketing it, just so I don't get anything on that. I'm gonna tape up the chuck, and then sand it down a little bit and hit it. All right, I don't have to be too careful here on sanding it. Kind of taking off the rough edges. I'm not sure what they used for paint on this. It's pretty thick stuff. Just got to get it to kind of feel smooth. Then I'm going to hit it with, I'm just using regular automotive primer. This isn't really going to rust. It's some type of cast aluminum, so let me just wipe this down. Alright, so while it's still glossy and black, so you can see the texture. You couldn't really see the texture of that when it was silver, but it's definitely got a grippy texture to it. So that's perfect for hammered. I have just enough Rust-Oleum silver hammered, which will match this. I think it would look better in gray, honestly, but it was originally silver, so we'll just keep it that way. Just gonna set this thing down to dry. And in 10 minutes, we'll paint the silver. All right, primer's dry. You can still see some of the texture through it. We're all masked up, so I'm gonna hit it with the hammered silver. All right, there's the hammered silver. I'll let that dry. And then I think we're pretty much done. All right, it hasn't been a while. It's been an hour or so, but let's take the tape off. Always pulling the tape away from where you painted, for obvious reasons. If I can find the starting point on the tape on the chuck, I'll take it off. If not, I'm gonna wait. It looks like it's right there. Okay. Well, not thrilled with this. It still feels pretty rough. I'm not really sure the best way to seal it up. But the hammered came out nice. The chuck came out nice. Not much I can do about the label, but the body came out pretty clean. So it needs more dry time. I realized I got through this entire process and I forgot to actually grease it. In spite of my reservations about taking it apart, I completely forgot. I had put it back together and just oiled it to kind of see if that grinding sound would go away, which it did. And then it just escaped my mind, which is funny because I completely forgot. And I was editing the video and I was like, oh, I actually never shot that. So you get to see me tear it down again. So what I'm going to do, kind of as a precaution here, I'm just going to kind of go in and see if I can hold the motor down and pop this off. That's how you do it. Okay. Oop, and then you just let it fall. Well, look at that. So look at that. This is kind of interesting. This is obviously pretty dry. There's a little grease on it, or sticky oil, I'll say. But this, I'm not sure how this actually comes apart. I don't think it just pops apart. I don't think it's made for you to manually be able to grease it. However, I'm not sure if you can see in there, but the gears are in there. See, it's still pretty hard to turn this, but you can see in there are the gears. So I am going to simply inject some grease in there. Give it a good 10 pumps of grease. That should be enough. All right. This out of the way. Now you can see why I masked it up. I didn't want to scratch up my paint. Okay, let's see. Plug it in. Switch is on. It's a lot faster now. I'll blow the sawdust away. Okay. And with that, we are officially done. Well, there it is. The hammered silver came out fantastic. I can't say it matches the harvest gold color of the drill. But that is the way it came, with silver up front. I can't say that it ever matched it too well. But there you go, it works. Okay, well here it is. 50 cents, it works. It looks pretty good. Looks as good as it ever did. And, you know, I guess you may wonder why I would take something like this on. I mean, it's a 50-cent drill. It's not like this is, has any historical significance. But I guess I look at it like some Native Americans believe that everything has a spirit. And if you build something, that also has a spirit. And I'd like to think this was bought by someone to use. It was useful. And I don't like to think of it as now worthless or useless. Just because it may be defective at the moment doesn't mean it can't be brought back. And it may not be the best thing to use it as a drill. It's only single speed. It's non-reversible. It doesn't have a torque setting or anything like that. But what it can be used for is you could use an eraser wheel to remove decals. You could put a wire brush on it. You could put a grinding wheel or a buffer pad on it. And it's good for that. It'll run fine. And it'll probably run for years just like that. So I like to think I brought it back to usefulness. Will I be using it? I'll probably find some use for it at some point. So if you like this sort of content, you like saving old tools and all that, please like and subscribe. I've always got more videos coming. And you know, if you see something like this at 50 cents, don't be intimidated. You can fix it. Just go out, get busy. Take care.